Got to take off my glasses, actually. From the days of John the Baptist until now, you've heard this verse several times today, haven't you? The kingdom of heaven has been forcefully advancing, and forceful men lay hold of it. Has anybody thought about, and perhaps you all have, thought about what it means to take the kingdom of heaven by force? I mean, can I arm wrestle God? Any of you? Actually, yes. And we can win. Anytime we attack God with our poverty, our helplessness, our bankruptcy, he has no defense. He cannot resist our helplessness. That is the force of which Jesus speaks. It's the only force that could possibly overpower God. And it's because he chooses to be overpowered. But he has never, ever, ever failed to make that choice. You want to find God? Stop relying on your cabinets. Stop relying on your instruments. And do understand that verse in the light of what went before, Matthew 11, 2 through 6. You know, remember John the Baptist's disciples came and said, well, are you the one, or should we be looking for somebody else? And you know, Jesus doesn't say, yes, I am. What's wrong with you? He says, look around you. What do you see? You see the dead raised? You see the blind and deaf healed? You see Valerie get back on her chair? Are the lepers being cleansed? Are the poor having good news right into their ears? And are there any here who are not poor enough to hear that and maybe need that? And of course, there's that last verse, verse 6. Blessed is he who does not take offense at me. Why would Jesus have to say that? I mean, who would be offended at the Son of God? Everybody. You know, he doesn't come as advertised, at least not the way we advertised him. He comes the way the prophets advertised him, sure. But we all knew what he was supposed to look like, and he didn't look that way. And we all knew how he was supposed to act, and he doesn't act that way. And we all know who his friends are supposed to be, and those are not his friends. Blessed is he who takes no offense at me, because we who take no offense at him, if we choose to do that, are going to see the dead raised and the lepers cured and all that good stuff. But if we're going to be too busy being offended at Jesus, or as my brother was saying, one another, we're not going to see anything. We're too busy looking at our own cabinets. We're too busy looking at the pad of things I want to do that's strapped to my knee as the pilot. We're too busy saying, what is wrong with the Lord that he doesn't even show me my own ship? That's what it's all about. When the 12 went out, Luke 9, 1 through 6, and they went out 2 by 2 to the towns and villages where Jesus had not yet gone. And on what did they depend? It wasn't the purse they had because they were told not to bring one. It wasn't the extra tunic because they didn't have one. It wasn't even the extra, and it certainly wasn't the people they went up to on the road who looked rich and influential. Hey man, how you doing? Got anything for me? They weren't allowed to do that. They went with the Spirit of the living God, and that was it. Well, how about the 70 elders, or the 72, depending on your translation, who went on Luke 10? Same deal, except that instead of Jesus totally emphasizing throughout the passage, take nothing, he says, and by the way, when you get there with nothing, here's what I want you to do. People you meet, bless them. That's what it means, leave your peace with them. Bless them. What if they don't deserve to be blessed? I don't know anybody who deserves to be blessed, with the possible exception of myself. That was a joke. Bless them. Because what God blesses, he transforms. We don't have to be sure that they deserve the good things that we want to give them. All we have to be sure about is that Jesus wants them to have it, and by George.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah. Then he says, I hate this part, because I get people out from time. I just want to be left alone. Read a book, watch a movie, go to sleep. He says, hang out with them. Well, what if I don't like them? Who asked? Hang out with them. Because that's what Jesus, isn't that what it's all about? He hung out with prostitutes and sinners and tax collectors, and he was a glutton and a wine bibber and all that jazz. He hung out with people. Don't tell me he liked every one of them equally. He loves every one of them equally. everybody in his grace. I don't like everybody. Jesus says, hang out with them and see what I will do through your poverty. Because you know what? If I can't like the people for whom Jesus died, I'm poor. He says, yeah, and I can use that. I can use it in poverty. I could be ashamed of it if I wanted to. Or I could just say, Lord, I ain't got much, but you got everything. Let's go. And then he says, oh, get this, meet their needs. What he says actually is heal the sick.